Hello everybody and welcome back to Very Biased Opinions. It's time for another review of another Oxford United game. Today, the Yellows were at home to Morecambe. So Karl Robinson back in the dugout after COVID. That's great news, except for probably the fourth officials. But there is a major change in the Oxford lineup today. Cameron Brannigan was missing, been an ever-present since coming back from his eye injury. But he was out with an illness. They didn't really go into what it was too much. So it remains to be seen how ill Cameron Brannigan is. But it meant that Goran came in the holding midfield role after his screamer of a goal against Tottenham under-21s in midweek. And it meant Kane would play further up the pitch with James Henry. And it meant Holland on the left and Mark Sykes on the right with Matty Taylor up front. It's still a good Oxford side, and at the risk of sounding disrespectful, it's a side I would expect to go and put in a good performance and beat Morecambe, but they have been a good, spirited side this season that score a lot of goals, but also concede a lot as well. Yikes. That was a tough watch. That was really tense. That was really difficult, and I thought for long periods of that game that Oxford were going to throw away a victory in this one and maybe even come out with a defeat, because Morecambe pushed Oxford really, really hard in this game. But it was a win for the Yellows. It ended up Oxford United 3, Morecambe 1. But for a lot of that game, I was watching it a bit like that. A lot of it came down to, well, credit to Morecambe for playing so well, but also Oxford very sloppy. Very, especially in the first half. They got better in the second half, I thought. But in the first half, the amount of times we gave the ball away, the amount of times they were poor passing. And I've got to say, really, Herbie Kane was really the main one for me, who kept either messing up his passes or getting caught on the ball. And it just meant Morecambe kept getting the ball back quickly, and Oxford really struggled to keep possession. And it was a really, really tough afternoon. I can't stress that enough. But it was very end-to-end in the first half, and I thought Oxford's brightest spark in the first half was Nathan Holland. When he got the ball, he looked dangerous, and he continues his good form, and he drove at people. And I thought he did a good job, and Oxford nearly got a goal early from things that he created. I think their goalie made a couple of mistakes, but Oxford couldn't capitalise on it. Mark Sykes was doing okay on the other side as well, but it was more when Oxford got the ball to Holland that they looked more dangerous in this one. But Morecambe as well looked good every time they came forward. They caused Oxford no end of trouble with their wide players, and obviously they just got the ball up to Stockton very, very quickly, or got the ball out wide, and it really tested Oxford, and Oxford had to stand up to it defensively, and through a combination of the back four and Eastie, they just about did it. They needed Eastwood to make a couple of good saves, and there was a couple of times they were lucky that Stockton let them off the hook, certainly with one header which went straight at Simon Eastwood. But generally I thought Oxford did well throwing their bodies on the line, blocking shots, defending stoutly from set pieces, and we were just hoping that we could get that goal. And eventually the goal came, and it came from a set piece. Are Oxford allowed to score goals from corners? I don't think we were. I thought that was a rule in League One that we weren't allowed to score from corners, because we've been god-awful at them all season, but we got one right this time. Not really one from the training ground, but ball played to the back post. Elliot Moore wins the first ball. Taylor's able to just kind of hook it back across goal in front of the keeper, and Steve Seddon was there to just nod it into the top of the net for a pretty good finish, easy finish, but one that could have gone wrong, and a very even game, but Oxford took the lead in this one, 1-0. Second goal for Seddon, and hopefully it was just time to breathe and relax. But it really wasn't, and Morecambe pushed Oxford all the way through this first half, and the only time we really got to breathe was when we did get to half-time, and hopefully it just kind of, Robinson would calm everyone down and would come out for the second half, and it would be a lot better. No, it wasn't. It really wasn't. It was not at all. Oxford's sloppiness continued, and Morecambe's difficulty to play against continued. And there are 6 players, really, they had going forward, and particularly Stockton, and particularly McDonald and Phillips and Jones looked very, very dangerous. The fullbacks came in well, and there's many times they got to the byline and put difficult crosses in. And really, how the hell should this not have been 1-1 in an action-packed start to this second half? The first one was Morecambe missing an absolute sitter. Oxford failed to clear the ball. It got played across the goal line. Eastwood just about got a hand on it to divert it right in front of Delaney, who all he had to do was just tap it in to an empty net. And thank God it was a centre-back, and he's put that wide. It was an awful miss. Oxford let off the hook massively, but we pretty much go down the other end and win ourselves a penalty. Completely out of nothing. Taylor plays a good ball played into the channel, and Taylor, who was excellent today, by the way, we'll get on to Matt Taylor in a little bit, he manages to beat the goalkeeper to the ball. Then the goalkeeper, and I'm going to put my quotation marks up, fouls him. Have we seen Taylor dive here? Maybe, but the referees fell for it. Goalie booked, goalie going mad, but it gave the GOAT a chance to get a goal on his 200th appearance for Oxford United. Surely James Henry was not going to let us down. And he's guided it miles over the bar. It was an awful spot kick. This tense game was not getting any easier by situations like that. And you felt it. You felt it that Morecambe were going to get a goal back in this one. And we kept giving Stockton warning shots. And eventually, he scored. It was a great finish. The ball came in, I think it was either a second phase from a throw-in or from a free kick, and he just got a few yards of space and flicked a beautiful volley into the top of the net. Eastwood could do nothing about it, and that is what a lethal striker he is this season. What a campaign he's having. 12 goals already. He is carrying this Morecambe side on his back, although they have had a few other goal scorers as well. But fantastic return for Stockton, and at that point, this game could have gone either way, and Morecambe, if anything, looked the more likely to win it. But Oxford did get better. After that, there were some changes. McGuane came on and White came on. Maybe Holland was injured, which is a little bit concerning, but the crowd did start to get into it a bit more. They sensed Oxford players needed it, and Oxford did get the third goal in this game. And it was Oxford had been very direct in this game, and I didn't think it worked very well. And I think a lot of that was credit to Morecambe. They didn't really let Oxford pass the ball around, and Oxford's passing was a bit off today, so maybe that was the right thing to do. But a crossfield ball came into Matty Taylor. It may have been from McGuane, it may have been from Sam Long. I forget who did it. But Taylor played a ball back across goal. Mark Sykes was arriving. The keeper arrives at the same time as Sykes. He's just really palmed it onto Sykes, and it's gone into the back of the net. A huge slice of luck that Oxford needed, but that's harsh on Sykes because he's done really well to get in there, and Taylor's cross ball was good. All the parts for Oxford were good. Just a little bit unlucky from Morecambe's point of view that it just hit Sykes and went in the back of the net, but we'll take it. We'll take it. And we were 2-1 up. But you were always very wary. You just could not sit still in this game. You couldn't relax because every time Morecambe got forward, they looked dangerous, as I said many times during this video already. And they were a constant threat from corners and free kicks and throw-ins. Very similar to like Burton, the way they just load the box, or like Wickham, where they just throw long throw-ins in from anywhere. And Oxford had to stand up for it. And we have done. To be fair to that back four, we have done. They didn't win first balls, they won second balls, and then if they did break to someone, they would just crowd them out and they'd get bodies around it and really do a good job of protecting Eastie. And when Eastie was called upon, he did a good job as well. So good defensive signs for Oxford United. But could we just make this one nice and simple? And yes, we could. There were chances. Like James Henry did all his best to kind of get over that penalty miss, but it was one decent shot and one which went miles over the bar. But not really too many missed opportunities for Oxford. We got into good areas without really creating too much. But then Steve Seddon, great game for him, goal and an assist, got to the edge of the box, nice back heel into Matty Taylor, who produced a beautiful chipped finish. I think that was 85 minutes on the clock. And for the first time in the game, we could bloody relax and enjoy it. And we did see the game out, an important win when Oxford were not at their best today. I've got to give the credit to Matty Taylor. The selfless work he does. At times he has to go up for balls. He has no right to win against centre-backs. And at times he chases things into blind alleys, picking up scraps. But he works so hard and he did so well. He got 2 assists in the game. He won the penalty and he got his goal. A brilliant afternoon from our centre forward, and he's in great form at the moment, and long may it continue. Oxford tick along nicely in League One, safely in the playoffs, close the gap on some of those ones around us today, and I think that Robinson will just draw a line under this one. He'll look at a few things to improve, but just say, kind of maybe got away with it a little bit in a game where we weren't at our best. We move on to the FA Cup. Then we've got Ipswich, which may be a game that's called off from international break. You don't know. It hasn't been decided yet, but I expect it probably will be. But I think that's 5 wins out of 6 for the Yellows. If you count all competitions, I think it may be 6 wins out of 7. So fantastic form for Oxford United. Things are looking good this season. We're right in the mix at this still early stage. And I think the main thing I say, as always, enjoy it. So exactly right, Oxford fans. Enjoy this great victory this afternoon. And just remember that Morecambe did put in a really good shift. So full credit to them. They've been very good in League One this season. Just a little bit loose at the back, but certainly a very good side going forward. All things looking good. Credit to Robinson. Good to have him back in the dugout. The fence is looking stronger. Hopefully Brannigan's not out for too long, and hopefully Taylor's purple patch continues. And hopefully we get another penalty so James Henry can put this miss to bed. But that's about it from me. If you like the video, give it a like. If you like the content, hit the subscribe button. And we'll be back next week with some Premier League predictions. I don't know if we'll do anything for the FA Cup, but I'll certainly do a review for the Oxford Bristol Rovers game.